Welcome. I'd like to thank Fontana for sharing her music with us prior to the start of our service to honor her mom. And I'd like now to invite her forward to start us off with a letter she wrote to her mom.
Hi. Ooh, my voice is quiet. When I was small, you told me that when people pass away, God lets them paint the sunsets for their loved ones. That was where the most beautiful skies come from, and it's part of why you loved watching the sun at the end of the day. You told me of the beautiful skies you saw when Grandpa passed away, and how you felt looked after and loved, and when you saw them, of how they always reminded you of him. I remember watching the sunset with you that day. The clouds were gray, but beneath them, the sun in its final hurrah of golds and indigo settled into the horizon. And now I'll forever be looking towards the sky, wondering if you painted it just for us. Although I know that you've passed, I can't shake the feeling that you're still here, that I can still call you and you will be there for me in an instant, that I can cry and it will be all right because your arms will embrace me and you will tell me that it's okay, that everything will be okay. And if I'm honest, I never want that feeling to go away. More than that, though, I am certain that it will never go away. And I'm sure that everyone who knows you feels the same way. That's just who you are, and that's how you'll always remain. What a wonderful impact you've made. To know we can always rely on your love and your embrace. To know you are always encouraging us to do our best, to be our best, to at least try. To know you'll always love us and be there no matter what. In these moments, these things mean the most, and you made sure that we knew them and that we'd always know them. Thank you for that. To know you are always here, never too far, never not listening, always beside us. What an honor to have you as a mother, because I know that you are there. You live amongst the most delicate and intricate pieces of this world that make life so wonderful. Within breezes that slip through the trees and make the sunshine on the shaded grasses beneath them dance and freckle. You are there in the laughter that rings out at family gatherings, where your voice is forever a melody sung into the air around us. Whenever the cool winter wind kisses my cheeks with rosy color, and the snow quietly falls as if it's in slow motion, you are there. And when the lightning makes its waltz across the stormy sky, and the thunder booms like the drums in the music you play on the early weekend mornings, I know you are there. Within everything beautiful, I see your presence. Not too long ago, the leaves outside your window were a burnt orange and the sunlight was resting on your face. And I couldn't help but think of how pretty you looked, how peaceful you looked. A person who was forced to, how peaceful you looked. A person who was forced to dig through the trenches of this life and still smiled, still laughed, still danced, still loved with everything she could. You were a kaleidoscope being graced by sunlight, and you shone in every brilliant color imaginable. A beautiful soul through and through. That's how I'll always remember you. Without your embrace, I take the chance to embrace you for everything that you are and were, just as you've always done for me. And I choose to live this life bravely with your memory guiding me always. Within my heart and the hearts of many, you forever have a space to live. I cherish you always. I will love you forever. And I'll keep on looking up to the evening sky to watch you say hello.
Thank you so much, Fontana. What beautiful thoughts and images created to honor your mom. For us, we gather here today as family and friends to support each other with our love and our understanding as we mourn the loss of a wonderful woman. We're also joined by those on our live streaming who I know send their good thoughts and prayers to you in this time of need. There are no words to describe what you're feeling at this time, and no comfort that can be given to take away the pain of losing a loved one. Each of our pain is different, so we must allow each other to grieve in our own way. During this time of reflection, don't be afraid to laugh, and don't be afraid to cry. This is a safe place for all of us to grieve and honor Heather's memory. Now, listening to Fontana's words, it's not hard to understand that Heather was very spiritual. She studied several different religions, and she was drawn to the indigenous spiritual beliefs. In fact, Heather had a Cherokee blessing that was posted on her fridge that was important to her, and I'll share this later on in our service. But as we prepare to celebrate Heather's life here today, I'd ask that you center your own thoughts and prayers on her as I share an indigenous prayer that the family wanted shared today. And it goes like this. We thank Creator for all that you have given us and for the rising of the sun today. We thank you, Creator, for giving us life and breath. I ask you, Creator, to help us so that all our memories of Heather are sweet, funny, enlightening, joyous, and loving. I ask that and hope that the grief we felt as a community from her September 30th walking on is eased through this gathering. Though we may be sad that she is not here with us today in body, we know that her spirit lives on in our hearts and in our minds. She gave us many gifts. May we bring those gifts into reality by enacting them, being humorous, being intelligent, being wise, being sincere, desiring justice and peace in the world, and being curious, and living in other ways you know that she did. Heather shared many gifts with those around her, and we are thankful for the love we received from her. This prayer helps us think of Heather and remember all that she meant to us. I'd ask you to look at your memorial card and look on the inside and see the words in a poem that Heather wrote that is included in there. And as you breathe in the fragrance of her sage and sandalwood incense that is being shared from her diffuser up here, I also ask you to center your thoughts and prayers once again on her as we listen to a song that she enjoyed listening to, Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time with. If I had a box just for wishes and dreams that had never come true. The box would be empty except for the memory of how they were answered by you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with.
If I had a box just for wishes and dreams that would never come true, the box would be empty except for the memory of how they were answered by you. These precious words from Jim Croce's song make us think of how Heather made each of our lives special. Her life may have been shorter than we wished, but Heather filled her years with so much love, life, and laughter that I know you are grateful for the time that you did have with Heather. So let us look back on her life and conjure up some more memories that help us think about her and help guide you through this time of grief. We know that Heather was born in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario in March of 1967, and her family moved to Medicine Hat in the early 1970s, for a short time here before moving to Seven Persons. Heather went to school in Seven Persons, living with family and friends as she gained different life experiences growing up. Heather told Kelly that she used to ride her bike from Seven Persons to Medicine Hat from time to time, and she enjoyed working with the horses on her friend's family farm. Even in her early teenage years, Heather enjoyed long-distance running and playing volleyball and badminton. Kelly met Heather for the first time at a friend's place, but she told him later on that she'd actually seen him at a park once a time before, and she was a little bit interested in that boy who had that fancy car. It was at the friend's place that they got to really know each other through their conversation, and they truly were friends from day one. They stayed friends for several years, and their friendship became deeper when Kelly started taking Heather out for rides in his Chevelle as they cruised around and enjoyed listening to music and probably playing it really loud. Heather and Kelly's friendship turned into a relationship that became a romance as their lives started to intertwine and come more and more together. Over the years, they added children to their lives, and of course, on June 21st, 2002, with their children present, they married. The joke was that it was the longest day of the year. I guess you just wanted to spend that day together as long as you could. Now, on Heather's resume, if you look at it, she lists the jobs she had over the years. Apparently, Heather wanted to work in the military and even was offered a chance to do it. She wanted to work with tanks and aircraft specifically. And the only reason that she didn't was because her dad asked her not to, since he didn't want to unexpectedly lose her. What is on Heather's resume is that she worked at AG's Foods in 2005, Quality Sandblasting from 2006 to 2007, but the role she highlighted above these, from 1987 to the present, she listed homemaker and more as a title. Now, the duties that were listed under this title were cleaning, cooking, housekeeping, childcare, interior design, carpeting, construction and deconstruction, sewing, waitressing, house cleaning, and bartending. Now, I'm pretty sure some of those duties are related to her role as homemaker, but some other ones maybe were under the and more category. But maybe she did enjoy bartending at home more than she did at Miami Spice. Not sure. Further on in Heather's resume, she lists her hobbies as spending time with family, painting in the arts, natural medicines, hiking, outdoor activities, animals, carpentry, and socializing, reading and writing, and I do massages. Now, we'll build on these hobbies and things that she loved. I'm going to skip the massages because I don't know what training she had. Heather definitely enjoyed spending time with her family, and these usually went along with outdoor activities. Heather liked camping outdoors in the boonies. Heather enjoyed all active sports. Apparently, Shailene said that she took up volleyball and fell in love with it because of her mom. Heather also loved cross-country skiing and running. Now, when Natasha was a baby, apparently Heather would wrap Natasha up in her jacket and go out for a run. Not only in Canada, but I think she even hit it off in Germany as well. Now, it was on one of these runs that actually Heather got to meet Enya. Yes, the singer Enya, she met on one of her cross-country runs. Do you remember that? You were a baby. Heather also liked to take her kids to the water slides a lot. She'd pack up a picnic. Then her and Auntie Lori would take Natasha, Shailene, and we believe Lucas with her off to the water slide. One of Natasha's favorite times with her mom talks about them going together, and it goes like this. We got lost in a snowstorm. We were headed to Calgary in the van to pick up Dad, and even though we told Mom she missed the turn, it was covered in snow, she kept driving. Pretty soon we were climbing up and down the snowy and steep slopes and the fluffy, sticky snowflakes. It wasn't until the police and the road crew workers had us turn around that she said, "Okay, we missed the turn." Heather might have missed the turn on that trip, but she didn't miss time with her grandkids. Heather loved spending time with her grandchildren. Of course, doing the Snapchat filters that they would play with, and how Heather was always tried to be there for them, even if they were in the hospital. And 3 of them shared these memories. Keaton's favorite memory is his grandma recording him after surgery when he was upset, and she poked fun at him because he was upset. She was just trying to make him laugh. Leston's favorite memory is talking about photography and all the angles and such, the beautiful things that can be captured. Jackson's favorite memory is the Christmas grandma gave him his first crystal. Now these were like some other memories, like when she'd say, "I'm going to eat you," as she chased after the kids with her dentures and making faces. Plus the tickle monster that would come out with all of his friends to greet the grandchildren. Heather never had just one thing that she specifically said. She was a continuous plethora of wondrous statements that suited apparently every situation. And I think the grandchildrens will remember this one. All around the garden, like a teddy bear. 1 step, 2 step, tickle yonder there. And the worm song, which I believe is another one that you shared. Nobody likes me, everybody hates me. Guess I'll go eat some worms. For others, you'll probably remember, as the kids did, when Heather would say, "And the lights go on all over the world." Heather enjoyed singing and joking around, and there's other sayings. Have you heard this one? "I'm a model." You know what I mean? And how are you going to pay for that? With brass buttons and hand grenades? And of course, "I can't cook for a small group of people, so you'd better eat seconds." We know that her wordsmithing was great, and she was a great lyricist. She could change up the words to any of the songs that she listened to. However, there are only a few in the room that actually know what an amazing voice Heather actually had. Kelly took Heather along on one of the jobs out of town, and he came back from work to hear her actually singing in the other room. Kelly was captivated by the beautiful voice he heard coming from the other room, and he didn't want to disturb her. Kelly just let Heather keep singing outwardly, listening to her hit every right note, and enjoyed that specific time and that specific memory. But I guess she did share her singing voice with her children too. As Royce remembers that his mom loved ABBA's Dancing Queen, and as soon as it would come on in the car, Heather would tell her kids to shut it so she could sing along to it. Regarding music, Fontana said, "Mom knew I'd be nervous to sing with her in the room when I was competing at the Rotary Music Festival, so she left after dropping me off. She actually stayed behind the door to listen to me sing and win first place for the first time. Afterwards, because I didn't know, I was so sad she didn't get to hear me sing. But when she told me about how she stayed, I was shocked and truly so happy." So many memories. And there's other things like Heather's quirky dancing and listening to loud music. Heather was very humorous. She liked to embarrass her family, and she actually threatened to their children that she would come to school in neon socks, pigtails, a bright top, and short shorts to get them if they didn't behave. Another embarrassing story was shared by Fontana, and she said this: "She purposely tried to embarrass Royce, Lucas, and I at the Giant Tiger by suddenly being goofy in the store. Jazz hands," I'm not going to do the high kicks, "while she was telling us to join in and saying, 'Oh, what? Are you embarrassed by your own mother?' she said in a very joking mode and tone. I guess that's why Shailene said that her mom had the ability to give you the biggest trouble of your life while just being incredibly understandingly kind and gentle in the same moment. And Shailene remembers fondly her mom's upside-down smile. Royce said, "Honestly, Mom's laugh was the most iconic thing that comes to mind. As soon as you hear that cackle, whether you want to or not, within a couple seconds, you'd be right there alongside her, laughing so hard you couldn't breathe." And there was other descriptions the family gave. That she was stunning, that she was powerful, eclectic, stubborn, brilliant, and was the strength of the family. Heather loved her fashion, wearing nice clothes and looking high class, of course, with all the pomp and circumstance. I just wonder if she wore those types of clothes when she was sporting her magnificent mohawk haircut. Heather enjoyed her earthly beliefs like crystals and energy. This is probably why she liked the Aurora Borealis chasing, the stargazing, the thunderstorms, and other astrological events. In fact, a favorite place of hers was laying out in the field behind their home, looking upwards at the night sky, enjoying the stars with wonder and appreciation. And she could do this with others, or, as Royce said, his mom loved to spend time out in the field by herself for a couple of hours and just enjoy all that nature had to offer. This love of nature probably came from how she loved her parents when they worked together on the giant rose bush outside of their home, and how they'd spend time together gardening. In fact, Heather's favorite flowers were lavender, roses, baby's breath, lilies, and carnations. And I know the family, especially Royce, had quite the time searching high and low to have them displayed here. In the summer, of course, we know that even though the sun was an irritant to her, she always told everybody she was allergic to the sun, but even so, Heather loved being out in the sun and would get quite brown and tanned. Heather enjoyed saying to others, "Hey, Whitey." What a girl. Growing up, Heather fondly remembers watching the sunsets with her dad, and we know, as you heard from Fontana, she loved those fiery skies. Heather also loved getting into the conspiracy theories, great debates, the paranormal, the Mandela effect, and enjoyed watching ghost stories and horror movies daily. Heather loved to actually pull all-nighters and she loved to do all-nighters and do movie marathons. Shailene remembers watching 7 movies back-to-back, 2 nights in a row. Steve Spielberg, Taken, of course, the X-Files movies. And with her kids, she loved watching the conspiracy videos. No wonder she loved Halloween, and it was one of her favorite holidays. And she tried to share this love with others, as is related in this memory from Fontana. Mom pretended to be a prop by our door on Halloween because she wanted to scare people. Well, it was her lucky day, because one of Luke's bullies had come to the door trick-or-treating with his friends. Well, they all hesitated, kind of freaked out about the prop, and they were unsure if it was actually a person or not. After the teens had finally convinced themselves that my mom was just a prop, they rang the doorbell. And that's when my mom took the opportunity to jump and yell, "Rah!" at them. The kids, of course, bolted off the lawn screaming, and my mom was very proud of herself. It's funny that the family said that Heather had a unique way of connecting with people. That's pretty unique. We know that Heather was spiritual, of course, that she had a way of connecting with other people, but she also had a calming effect, and she touched the heart of everyone that she met, even if it was those boys and she made their heart go faster. Heather also had the ability to sense what was going on with someone else through the energy that she felt from them. Heather was talking with a lady from the insurance agency, and she congratulated the lady on being pregnant, and much to the woman's surprise, because she actually hadn't told anybody else, not even her mother. Heather then went on to say that you're going to have, I believe it's a blue-haired or a blonde-haired, blue-eyed male. And she guessed at the date, and I think she was pretty close to the date as well. There was another time that she was talking to a doctor, and after she put her hand on his, she actually told him some of the things that were wrong with him. And the doctor confirmed that she was right. Kelly mentioned that at times she used her abilities to help the police locate children that were adopted. I think you said Kelly in Vancouver area and the Lethbridge area. And interestingly enough, the girl in Vancouver was named Heather Rose. Now that is not a coincidence. Now all of these memories cover off just a few of the Heather's hobbies that were listed in her resume. But she also mentioned her love of painting and art. Heather loved her art. She even took some in-home training to improve her painting, drawing, and stonework skills. Another way that she captured art was through photography. And regarding art, Fontana said this: Mom loved arts. And she would sit for hours in the early mornings painting pieces. She'd either give them to us kids or hang them in the house. She painted cups with our Auntie Chris, who has since passed away. She loved art and calligraphy. If you ever saw her handwriting, it was so pristine and so well done. She told me she had a teacher who taught her calligraphy as part of the arts and how she really enjoyed it. She also crafted so much. She enjoyed helping with school projects or teaching us how to do random crafts like beadwork, popsicle stick birdhouses, or neat ways to create things with pipe cleaners. Another way that Heather enjoyed the beauty of the world was through the animals that she loved. When Natasha was younger, Heather had Misty, the orange tabby, and Smokey, I believe a female gray Persian. And even though she was attacked by a German Shepherd when she was younger, her and Kelly actually took in a German Shepherd that was a runt of a litter and tried to nurse it back to health. Henry's life was unfortunately short, but it truly was full of love. This love was evident in the coaxing of some homeless cats to be part of their home. A lot of patience and time went into having the mum cat allow her 2 kittens to come into the Robbins home. And after a few short 11 years later, BB the mum cat and one of her kittens, Tequila, is still part of the Robbins home and is in the home. Amaretto has been fostered out to another family and is still shining and driving them crazy too. BB and Tequila now have another furry friend, apparently, as Mooney was another cat that was coaxed into the Robbins home. And apparently, Mooney has definitely found out where the food is kept. One of the other hobbies Heather listed on her resume was socializing. And every Tuesday, Heather enjoyed heading off to her meetings where the group would spend their time engulfed in the Indigenous practices. And she loved this time with them. There were also the powwows with the family of the women of the family. I think you guys called them the Fagawis? Yeah. A name is derived from an old joke about the Fagawi tribe. The family has given me permission to tell the joke, so I apologize. You know what the Fagawi tribe is, right? The Fagawi tribe is made up of people who are small in stature. They live in 6 foot high grass, and they carry 7-foot poles. And the members of the tribe would run along through the grass, plant the poles in the ground, and as they would reach the top of the arc in the grass, they would say, "Where the fuck are we?" My apologies. Now, as we reach the top of our arc today in the telling of Heather's story, I hope that we covered off at least a few of the memories of her that you found special or have given you a new outlook on her life. Now, I know there's many more memories to share about Heather, and I'm hoping that the ones that I didn't include up here today, you will share with each other afterwards. For now, let us share a tribute of photos and images of Heather and those she loved in a tribute that was put together and prepared by Shailene. The songs that accompany the slideshow are Miss You by Blink-182, a portion of an instrumental version of Hotel California, and Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day. I see that she's having a little bit of fun with us. And I know what the problem is. I'll be right back.
From my nightmare, the shadow in the background of the morgue, the unsuspecting victim of darkness in the valley. We can live like Jack and Sally if we want, where you can always find me. And we'll have Halloween on Christmas, And in the night we'll wish this never ends. We'll wish this never ends.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep, I cannot dream tonight. I need somebody and always. This sick, strange darkness comes creeping on, so haunting every time. And as I stared, I counted webs from all the spiders, catching things and eating their insides, like indecision to call you and hear your voice of treason. Will you come home and stop this pain tonight? Stop this pain tonight. Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head. Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head. Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head. Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head. Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head. Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head.
Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Like my father's come to pass, 7 years has gone so fast. Wake me up when September ends. Here comes the rain again, falling from the stars, drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends. Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Ring out the bells again, like we did when spring began. Wake me up when September ends. Here comes the rain again, falling from the stars, drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends. Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Like my father's come to pass, 20 years has gone so fast. Wake me up when September ends. Wake me up when September ends. Wake me up when September ends.
Thanks, Shailene. Heather Robbins will be missed. But you'll never truly be gone if she's remembered in your hearts and in your minds. So think of Heather, talk about her, and fondly remember those times that she touched your heart in some way. Stories about Heather will be appreciated, so please share these with each other afterwards at the luncheon or in the days or weeks to come. And thank you for coming here today to share in this celebration of Heather's life, either physically or through our live streaming. The family would like to invite you to stay here to continue to celebrate Heather's life with a time of nourishment and fellowship. At the end of this chapel service, the family will be headed to a private interment, so the family asks you to please stay here, and they will be back shortly. While you're waiting, the family has asked me to tell you to go ahead and partake in the food and beverages which are at the back of our Celebration of Life Center, and they will join you on their return. Let us now pause to share a blessing that Heather really liked. A prayer that she really liked, the Lord's Prayer. Please join me, if you like, sharing in one prayer with one voice for one special person. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. The Cherokee blessing that I spoke of earlier, which was posted on Heather's fridge, was important enough for her to actually first post it on her bedroom mirror to remind her every day of the blessing she had. And we wish to share it with you now. And it goes like this. May the warm winds of heaven blow softly upon your house. May the Great Spirit bless all who enter there. May your moccasins make happy tracks in many snows, and may the rainbow always touch your shoulder. As you ponder this blessing and prepare to leave from here, we know that we're taking Heather to her final resting place, so I would ask that you say your own goodbyes and prayers for Heather and her family as we listen to our exit song, Return to Innocence by Enigma. As you listen to this song as we exit, think of the love, devotion, feeling, and emotion that you experienced from Heather.